The signal came at midnight. Dr. Maya Lin sat alone in the observatory when the computers lit up. A pattern repeating every 12 seconds. Not random noise, not Earth-made. "This can't be right," she whispered, checking the signal again. The pattern continued, steady and clear. Maya's hands shook as she reached for the emergency phone. This would change everything. Within hours, the small observatory became a storm of activity. Government officials in dark suits pushed past Maya, taking control of her equipment. Military personnel set up a perimeter outside. "You need to sign this," a stern woman in a gray suit said, pushing papers toward Maya. "What is it?" Maya asked. "Confidentiality agreement. What you found is now classified." Maya signed. She had no choice. Days passed. The signal grew stronger. News leaked despite government efforts to contain it. People gathered in streets, looking up at the sky. Some prayed, some panicked. Water riots in the eastern districts grew worse. General Harris stood before the World Council, his uniform crisp despite the late hour. "The signal contains mathematical sequences in what appears to be a language," he explained. "Our best linguists believe they've cracked it." The room fell silent. "They call themselves the Lumina. They say they come in peace. They offer solutions to our water crisis, our energy problems, our diseases." Council President Sean leaned forward. "And what do they want in return?" "A home. They say the world is dying." Debates raged for weeks. Earth was already struggling with its own problems. The global water shortage had caused wars. Millions had died. Could they trust these visitors? In the end, desperation won. The council voted to respond. "We accept your offer of assistance," the message read. "You may approach." The first ship appeared 30 days later. It hung over Central City like a metal moon, blocking the sun. Smaller craft descended, landing in the city center. Maya watched from behind a military barrier as the visitors emerged. They looked almost human, but taller, with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their movements were fluid, graceful. "I am Seller," the first one said in perfect human speech. "We bring gifts." The crowd cheered. Maya didn't. Something felt wrong. Within months, Lumina technology transformed Earth. Water purifiers appeared in drought zones. Energy generators replaced failing power plants. Hospitals received medical devices that cured the incurable. Dr. Elias Reed studied a sample of Lumina medicine in his private lab. The government had approved it for distribution next week. Something about its molecular structure bothered him. "Computer, analyze genetic impact," he ordered. The results made him drop his coffee mug. It shattered on the floor. "This can't be right," he muttered, running the test again. The screen showed the same results. The medicine altered human DNA, subtly, almost undetectably. Elias copied the data to a secure drive and erased the original. His hands trembled as he placed the drive in his pocket. Outside, a luminous ship passed overhead, its engines humming. People on the street waved up at it, smiling. A child held a toy version of the alien craft. Elias didn't wave. He pulled his coat tighter and hurried through the crowd. He needed to find someone who would listen. Someone who would believe him. Behind him, a government car pulled away from the curb. Following, the Lumina weren't what they seemed, and time was running out. Elias ducked into a narrow alley as the government car slowed near the corner. His breath made small clouds in the cold air. 5 years since the Lumina arrived, and winter still felt wrong with their ships blocking the natural sunlight. The car passed. Elias checked his watch, a simple analog model, nothing that could be tracked. Digital devices were monitored now. He had 30 minutes to reach the meeting point. He moved quickly through back streets, avoiding the main roads where Lumina health scanners hung from lampposts. The scanners were supposed to detect disease. Elias knew better. The old subway entrance was blocked by fallen concrete, just as his contact had described. Elias squeezed through a gap, scraping his shoulder. The tunnel beyond was dark. He clicked on a small light and followed the abandoned tracks. Water dripped from the ceiling. Rats scattered at his approach. The air smelled of mold and rust. This place had been abandoned long before the Lumina came. A sound echoed from a head metal against metal. Elias froze, switching off his light. Footsteps approached. "Identify yourself," a woman's voice commanded. A light flashed in his eyes. "Elias Reed, I have information about the medicine program." The light lowered. A woman with short gray hair and a scarred face stepped forward. She wore an old military jacket with no insignia. "I'm Commander Chun. Follow me." She led him deeper into the tunnel system. They passed through a heavy metal door into what had once been a maintenance area. Now it was filled with mismatched equipment computers, medical devices, weapons. People worked at various stations. Some looked up as Elias entered. Their faces showed exhaustion and fear. "Welcome to the Resistance," Chun said. "Show me what you found." Elias connected his drive to a computer that wasn't linked to any network. The data appeared on screen. "The Lumina medicine alters human DNA," he explained. "Not just surface changes. Deep structural modifications." Chun studied the screen. "For what purpose?" "I don't know yet. But there's more." Elias pulled up another file. "These changes are building towards something, like pieces of a puzzle being put in place." A man approached from the shadows. His uniform was worn, but unmistakably military high rank. "General Harris?" Elias gasped. "I thought you supported the Lumina." "I did," Harris said. His face was grim. "Until I saw what happened at Base 7. Harris activated a wall screen. Security footage showed a Lumina medical facility. Humans entered for treatment. The doors closed. "This is from our hidden camera," Harris explained. "Watch." The footage continued. Hours passed in seconds. The doors never reopened. "Where did the people go?" Elias asked. Harris changed the view to thermal imaging. The building showed no human heat signatures inside. None had left through any exit. "They vanished," Harris said. 47 people. Gone. Chun turned to Elias. "We need to know what the DNA changes do. Can you help us?" Before Elias could answer, an alarm blared. Red lights flashed. "Perimeter breach," someone shouted. On a security monitor, figures in black tactical gear moved through the tunnel. "Government security forces," Chun said, grabbing a weapon. "They found us." Harris pulled Elias toward a back exit. "You have to get out. Your knowledge is too important." "But what about?" An explosion rocked the room. Concrete dust filled the air. Gunfire erupted. Harris shoved a small metal object into Elias's hand. "Find Dr. Maya Lin at the Northern Observatory. Tell her Nemesis is real. She'll understand." Elias stared at the object. It was an old military keycard, worn and scratched. "What is Nemesis?" he asked. Harris pushed him through a narrow escape tunnel. Earth's last hope. The tunnel door slammed shut behind Elias as the sound of fighting grew louder. Elias crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnel for what felt like hours. His knees bled. His lungs burned from concrete dust. Behind him, the sounds of fighting had stopped. He didn't know who had won. A tunnel ended at a rusted grate. Elias kicked it open and tumbled into an abandoned train station. Moonlight filtered through broken ceiling panels. A Lumina ship passed overhead, its searchlights sweeping the streets. He stayed in the shadows, clutching the key card. The Northern Observatory was 50 miles away. He needed transport. A noise made him turn. A small girl stood watching him. She looked about 8, with dark hair and unnaturally bright eyes. "You're bleeding," she said. Elias tried to smile. "Just a scratch." "What are you doing down here alone? Hiding?" "Like you." The girl stepped closer. They're looking for you. Who is? The men in black, and the bright ones. She tapped her head. I can hear them talking. Elias stared at her. What do you mean, you can hear them? In here. She tapped her head again. Since I got the medicine, I hear things. See things. Elias felt cold fear spread through his chest. The DNA changes. They were having effects already. What's your name? He asked. Myra. Myra, I need to get to the Northern Observatory. Can you help me? The girl nodded. Follow me. Stay quiet. Myra led him through service tunnels and back alleys. She moved with confidence, avoiding patrols and cameras. Twice she stopped suddenly, pressing a finger to her lips, seconds before a security drone passed overhead. They reached a small garage. An old transport truck sat inside, its paint faded. My dad's, Myra explained. He's gone now. Took the medicine last month. Then the bright ones came for him. Elias checked the truck. It had fuel. The engine started with a low rumble. Come with me, he said. It's not safe here. Myra climbed in. They drove through empty streets, keeping lights off. The city thinned out. Farmland appeared, then forest. Lumina ships were less common here. They're dying, Mira said suddenly. Elias glanced at her. Who? The bright ones, the Lumina. Their bodies are breaking. That's why they need us. Need us for what? Myra looked at him with those two bright eyes. New bodies. They change our insides so they can move in. Push us out. Elias gripped the steering wheel tighter. How do you know this? I told you. I hear them. They don't know I can. They think the changes just make us ready. They don't know some of us can listen. The observatory appeared ahead, a white dome on a hilltop. Searchlights swept the perimeter. Guards patrolled the fence. She's there, Myra said. The woman you seek. But others too. Waiting. Elias parked the truck in the trees. We need a way in. Myra pointed to a service road. Delivery entrance. Less guards. They approached on foot. A delivery drone hovered at the gate. Elias and Mira hid behind supply crates as the gate opened. Now, Elias whispered. They slipped inside behind the drone. The observatory corridors were cold and sterile. Their footsteps echoed on metal floors. Through windows, they could see massive telescopes pointing at the sky. This way, Mira said, leading him deeper into the facility. They turned a corner and froze. Dr. Maya Lin stood there, a gun in her hand. Dr. Reed, she said. You're late. Nemesis is real, Elias said quickly. General Harris sent me. Maya's expression changed. She lowered the gun and looked at Myra. Who's the girl? Before Elias could answer, Myra spoke. They're coming. Right now. They know we're here. Alarms blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed. Perimeter breach, a computerized voice announced. Unknown entities detected. Maya grabbed Elias's arm. The key card. Give it to me. Elias handed it over. Maya swiped it through a hidden reader in the wall. A section of floor slid open, revealing a staircase down. Inside, Maya ordered. Both of you. Now. As they descended, Mira stopped suddenly. Her eyes rolled back. Blood trickled from her nose. They've started, she whispered. The final signal. It's beginning. Elias caught Myra as she stumbled. The girl's skin burned hot against his hands. Above them, the sound of boots pounded on metal floors. Move, Maya ordered, sealing the hidden door behind them. The staircase led deep underground, lit by dim emergency lights. They descended into a vast chamber filled with old military equipment. Dust-covered screens lined the walls. In the center stood 3 metal containers, each the size of a car. What is this place? Elias asked, setting Myra down on a chair. Project Nemesis, Maya said, typing commands into a console. The screens flickered to life. Earth's last defense system, Myra moaned, clutching her head. They're in the building, searching, angry. Maya looked at the girl with surprise. She can sense them? Side effect of the DNA changes, Elias explained. She hears their thoughts. Maya nodded grimly. Then she knows what they plan to do. Take our bodies, Mira whispered. Push us out. Make us empty. The ceiling shook as an explosion rocked the upper levels. Dust rained down. We don't have much time, Maya said. She pressed her palm against a scanner. A container hissed open, revealing a rack of small metal cylinders. What are those? Elias asked. Biological agents designed to target specific neural patterns. They'll disrupt the Lumina connection to human hosts. Another explosion, closer this time. Warning lights flashed. Perimeter breach in lower levels. An automated voice announced. Maya handed Elias a cylinder. This needs to reach the central water system. It's the fastest way to distribute it. But what about people who haven't been changed yet? Elias asked. It only affects the altered DNA patterns, Maya explained. But we need the other weapons too. She moved to the second container. Inside were what looked like small satellite dishes. Quantum disruptors. They'll sever the connection between Lumina's ships. The third container held tiny vials of shifting silver liquid. Nanite swarms. They'll dismantle Lumina technology at the molecular level. The door at the top of the stairs burst open. Figures in black tactical gear poured through. Take cover, Maya shouted, drawing her gun. Elias grabbed Mira and ducked behind equipment. Gunfire erupted, filling the chamber with noise and smoke. Maya fired back, hitting 2 attackers. She reached for the weapons containers, but a shot caught her in the shoulder. She fell, blood spreading across her uniform. Dr. Lin, Elias shouted. Get the weapons out, she gasped. It's our only chance. Elias looked at the stairs, now blocked by armed forces. There was no way out. Myra tugged his sleeve. This way, she whispered, pointing to a ventilation shaft near the floor. Elias grabbed as many cylinders and disruptors as he could carry. He stuffed them into his pockets and a small bag from a nearby shelf. Maya crawled toward them, leaving a trail of blood. The activation codes, she said, pressing a small data chip into Elias's hand. You'll need these. Come with us, Elias urged. Maya shook her head. I'll hold them off. Get those weapons to the distribution points marked in the files. More security forces entered the chamber. Maya turned, firing her remaining bullets to give them cover. Elias removed the vent cover. Myra, go first. The girl crawled into the shaft. Elias followed, the weapons clinking against each other in his bag. Behind them, Maya's gun fell silent. A new voice spoke smooth and inhuman. Find them, the Lumina ordered. The transfer signal is already active. We cannot allow interference. Elias and Myra crawled through the narrow shaft. It sloped upward, then down. The metal was cold against their hands and knees. Where does this lead? Elias whispered. Myra didn't answer. Her eyes had that distant look again. Blood dripped from her nose onto the metal below. Mira? The girl turned to him, her eyes now glowing with an unnatural light. They're inside me, she said in a voice that wasn't entirely her own. I can feel them coming in. Elias backed away from Myra in the narrow shaft. Her eyes pulsed with blue light. Blood streamed from her nose. Fight it, Myra, he urged. The girl shuddered. They're pushing me out. Elias heard banging in the shaft behind them. Security forces were following. Which way to the water system? He asked. Myra pointed forward. 3 turns ahead. Then down. They crawled faster. The weapons in his bag clinked together. The transfer is happening everywhere, Myra said, her voice shifting between her own and something alien. They reached the first turn. Myra pointed right. They turned. How much time do we have? Elias asked. Minutes. Maybe less. The second turn appeared. Behind them, The sounds of pursuit grew louder. Myra suddenly screamed, clutching her head. "They're pushing harder," she gasped. "I can't." Her eyes flashed completely blue. Her expression turned cold. "Human," she said in a voice that wasn't hers. "You cannot stop this." Elias grabbed her shoulders. "Mira, fight them." She blinked rapidly. "The water system. You have to hurry." She pointed to the third turn. "Down there." "I'll hold them off. I'm not leaving you. You have to." "I can't fight them much longer." Elias hesitated, then handed Mira one of the quantum disruptors. "If you can, activate this." Mira took it. "Go." Elias found the downward shaft and slid down. He landed hard on a metal grate. Below stretched the water purification system. Massive tanks and pipes filled the room. Elias dropped down. His ankle twisted. He limped to the central tank. He plugged the data chip into the control panel. The screen lit up. He placed the biological agents into the input chamber. Gunfire erupted above. Elias worked faster, setting up the nanite vials. Through a window, he saw luminous ships gathering in the sky. Their hulls glowed. "System ready," the computer announced. Awaiting final authorization. Elias hesitated. The weapons would save humanity, but millions would die. People dependent on Lumina technology. People already in mid-transfer. People like Mira. A scream echoed from the shaft. Then silence. Elias closed his eyes, pressed the button. "Weapons activated," the computer confirmed. The Lumina ships outside faltered. Some began to fall. The building shook. Warning alarms blared. The water in the tanks bubbled. The door burst open. Myra stood there. Her eyes glowed blue. Her movements were stiff. "What have you done?" the Lumina voice asked through her mouth. "Saved us," Elias answered. A Lumina ship crashed nearby. The lights flickered. Mira convulsed. She fell to her knees. The blue light in her eyes dimmed. "It's working," Elias whispered. Myra reached out a hand. Elias took it. Outside, the world was changing forever.